Yo, yo, yo. What is good, YouTube? Just popping in to discuss the new MPC XL. Disclaimer, if you've been on YouTube today and been bombarded with all this stuff, and I totally understand, click off. You're not going to want to listen to more of it. I, for one, was at work all day and didn't get a chance to check out anything really on it or see if there was anything special about it. So I was just going to kind of look at a couple things, check it out, and discuss it a little bit. For those that don't know, I've been a MPC user for a long time. And with this newer generation, the MPC SE has been one of my favorite tools for crafting beats in full songs. A lot of my tracks and a lot of the music I've made over the last 4-5 years, starting with the MPC one, then getting the MPC SE. The skeletons of the song I would formulate on the MPC before getting into my DAW. Definitely drums and sequencing of other gear. I'm an MPC user, and I really love the MPC XSE. So I was just going to take a look at this new flagship from Akai, and just check it out and see what's what. I didn't see a whole lot of other stuff drop for today. We had Leviathans yesterday, obviously. But yeah, let me know if sound and everything's good, guys. If you can hear me all right. What's up, Synth Fun? How you doing? Quomestic, what up? Hello, hello. Aaron Perry, 1750. Okay. Good to see you guys. Electronic Composer, good evening. Good evening. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of check out a video from. I'm gonna check out the Tefty and Memes little talk, because if you don't follow Tefty Tech, used to be the Tefty and Memes channel before he started Tefty Tech. I've always just respected his opinion. He's very. He just does good work. I think he's just one of the, even though he works with Akai sometimes and companies, I feel he's a little more legitimate than some of the other super glaze videos that we could watch from some people. But sounds good to me. Right on. Thank you, Synthfun. Appreciate it. So if you guys want to hang out and just I'm going to watch a little of this video and just give my thoughts on this new MPC. So let's going to take this over here. So I'll have the chat, and then this one over here. There we go. Okay, and then hopefully this works all okay. Let me get this up. All right. And then we'll go to pick and pick, see if, yeah, I think that might work. Let me make sure the audio is good, though. All right, so I started watching the beginning of this, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to just, now he's titled this Akai MPC XL Review, Skip or Scoop, a Discussion. And as I watched the beginning of the video, let's see, I'm going to start it back over here. We're going to...
They have commissioned me to make MPC Live 3 videos and now also MPC XL videos. So, full disclosure, I was hired to produce a video series for the XL, and they also gave me the XL. So, they did pay me to make the video series, and they also gave me the XL in exchange for that work. In that contract, they did not expect a review. So, if you're wondering if this video is part of that contract, no.
My bad, guys. My bad.
Never make another MPC video ever again, and they would be okay with that, with the way that contract is. But as it stands, I enjoy making MPC content, so here I am making this video. But you should know that I have done some work with Akai, so if that bothers you, I'll see you later. No worries. For those that want to continue.
Is that volume okay for the video? I apologize. I had that that was cranked out. I don't know why it was turned up so high on there, but hopefully I didn't blast your guys' ears or clip your speakers there. You guys should be able to hear it okay now. I am going to mute my mic as I do this because the mic's picking up my headphones, so you might get an echo there. Just let me know if there's any audio issues. I'm going to try and redo that. My apologies, guys. Technical difficulties. This is a live program. We are on 95.5 KTTL and bringing you the latest MPC XL review. This is Trader to the News, and yeah, we're going to just look at this. So, live TV, live, you get some technical difficulties. So let me mute.
You and hear my opinion? Welcome. Now, there's a lot that I like about the XL. Arguably, most of this video is going to be about how awesome the XL is in my opinion. So instead of front loading the video with the things I think are great about it, let's actually talk about the negatives first right away to get them out of the way, okay? So right off the bat, the price. It is, I think, $2,900 MSRP, so it's pretty steep of a price for something like this. Now, this does have a lot of features, don't get me wrong, but for $2,900, you can get a pretty badass laptop at that point. And a laptop, in terms of power, is going to do way more what this guy can do.
Okay, right there. See, I appreciate his honesty, starting out right off with the negatives. Tefty, I think, is a real one. He's not like your regular showbilly style. He seems to really care about like giving you the honest truth more, even when he's working for a company. I've always got that impression from him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some might disagree, but I notice he's always critical in some areas when he reviews things and gives real negatives and what seems like a real honest opinion. So $2,900, you can get a laptop for that. These modern new MPCs, less powerful than a laptop. They're gearing towards being more of a workstation, VSTs, plugins, all this stuff. Really far away from what the original idea of an MPC was as a sampling drum machine, in my opinion. Let's see, we got some other people joining in. What's up, Space Capsule? Thank you, guys. Yes, it's fine. Cool. Thank you. Volume is good. Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. So yeah, I mean, $2,900 for this thing. That's a big chunk of change for basically, a not powerful laptop. Now, it does have the pads, and it's got some controller knobs and stuff. I'm not going to totally knock it, but I do think that it's, and it's not about the price. I'm not saying that it's too expensive or anything, but what you can get for that same price and the power you could get with just a laptop, he makes a good point there, in my opinion. Anyway, let's continue.
Even though this does technically have upgraded stats. It's got an upgraded CPU. Instead of 8 gigs RAM, it's got 16 gigs RAM, so double the RAM of the Live 3. And it also comes with a 256 gig internal hard drive, an SSD hard drive. So very fast internal storage that's also twice the size of the Live 3. Again, 256 gigs is not like nothing special at this point in terms of the computer world. And same thing with 16 gigs RAM. 16 gigs RAM is almost like the base minimum at this point. But for an MPC, technically the most powerful leading MPC to exist at this point in time. You do get a fair bit of hardware for that $2,900, including an audio interface that technically is 4 in, 8 out, and then 4 ports of MIDI out, CV outs, that type of stuff. There's also inputs in the front that you can switch with the dials up here and do direct monitoring, all that stuff. So there's
Okay, that's one thing. That is a bonus. I mean, you get a pretty nice interface, but what kind of converters is it compared to like a $3,000 audio interface? Now, I will say that the routing capabilities of my MPC XSE is phenomenal. It's one of the best things about it if you use it for sequencing. The amount of IO, the MIDI, the CV on it, you can literally run, almost your entire studio, depending on how much equipment you have. Makes that's what makes, I think, the X line of the MPCs the best part of it, because you are getting that amazing MPC sequencer still too. It's all the other bloated stuff that they've been throwing in that kind of turns me off. See, Electronic Composer says I'm thinking a Mac Mini next. Nice. I've been thinking about going back. I haven't had a Mac in over 10 years, and I've thought about picking one up myself. Let's see, Mac Mini, Mac Mini price for the money, better price for the money. Yeah, Aaron. Yep. This is a handsome machine, but I'm just not an MPC guy. Understand? Yeah. The MPC is definitely not for everybody by any stretch. And these new ones, I mean, you have to be a certain kind of like, the workflow on them. They've sort of lost me since they went to this 3.0 thing last year or a year and a half ago. They completely revamped the firmware. And it has a lot of cool things, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. The workflow, it's just not quite as fun. It feels more like I'm in my DAW instead of before when I was standalone using it in the 2.15, the 2.0 software they had. It felt more like I was working DAWless with just a screen. As silly as that sounds, because it's a big old screen, but it was just something about the workflow. But because of the enhanced features, I felt like I had to go to 3. Now, I still have my MPC 1 that I have on the 2.15, which is, I think, the last software. And I broke that out recently. I think I posted a video just jamming it. I love it. I have so much fun just sampling a record and chopping up in that. But anyway, let's see what this thing's got. I'm not going to be a total naysayer or whatever on it. I don't know why. I'm just not impressed. And normally this is what I've been waiting for, to be honest. With all this new stuff, I've been waiting for the XL to see what it's about. So this is the first video I've watched on it. So let's see what it brings to the table.
Definitely some conveniences for what you're buying with the XL, but it's expensive. So number one, price. It's a spendy piece. What else? The jog wheel. This is the same jog wheel as the X and the XSE, I believe. I've never owned the X or the XSE. I've owned the majority of the other MPCs at this point that are modern. But I do notice the lack of a click with this jog wheel can be a little off-putting if you're used to other MPCs like the Live 3 or the MPC 1. You do have these directional buttons with the confirmation.
Okay, this one blows my mind because that's been the number one complaint. The main complaint I have with the XSE, and most people I know, is if you use the MPC one as he's talking about, or any of the others, as you use the big wheel and goes, you can click it to select. The MPC X and the MPC X Special Edition, you couldn't do that, and it's annoying because it seems like a small gripe, but it's such a huge thing to have to turn down and then go down and hit enter. Turn to what you want, go down and hit enter, as opposed to just clicking. All the other MPC models, you're able to do that. So you're telling me they released this brand new flagship that is like their new huge thing, that's their most expensive flagship product, and they didn't make it so you could just click the main encoder, the endless encoder that you use to scroll through everything on it. Is honestly, it doesn't surprise me with Akai. And looking at this thing, I wonder if they didn't just use parts from the XSE to make it. I wouldn't be shocked with Akai, but wow, what a missed opportunity to really improve the one thing that everyone that owned an X and XSE complained about. Wild.
Click in the center right here. But if you're used to the jog wheel and then being able to click the jog wheel, it can throw you off a bit. Personally, like it took me a while to be like, I'm going to jog to somewhere and then bring my hand down and hit the confirmation. Some people might think I'm kind of complaining about nothing right there, but in a workflow sense, when you're so used to using the other MPCs and using the jog wheel to then click and confirm things, that can be a bit strange, personally. In terms of the inputs and outputs, it would have been nice to have maybe one more stereo pair of inputs. There is 8 outputs, which is nice. There's a 1 and 2 preamp in the back right here, which does do phantom power. Love that, excellent. And then you can also swap it to inputs in the front for instrument, which is really nice and convenient. So if you have a guitar, you can just be like, plug it in like that. And then there's also a 3/4 stereo pair on the back as well that you can patch in, say like a synthesizer into that, or whatever line level instrument that you want to patch in. This whole interface right here monitors those type of inputs. So it would have maybe cluttered that up having like a 5/6 input or something like that. For the price, I feel like maybe a little bit more I/O could have been beneficial for the $2,900 price tag. What the XL positions itself as is a studio centerpiece.
Okay, again, no improvement with the I/O from the XSE, which is kind of surprising, you know? This is their new addition. From the looks of this, just looking at it now, I haven't gotten into the bones of it yet, but it's got those new MPE style pads. Other than that, looking at it, they just redid the encoders so they're all in a line now, which I'm not looking. I don't really like that. On the X, they're all on one side, and it is nice on these because you get the little screen. I think it's the OLED screen, or I don't know what they are. You get a little screen though, so whenever you're using anything, using the X, anything on the screen you can use all manual knobs and buttons for. That's what I love about it compared to the other MPC models. You don't have to rely on the touch screen, so it feels like it's more tactile, you know. But I'm not seeing a lot added. The touch strips are cool on the side. Those are big, but I'm not a fan of the encoders all laid out across it like that. Now I'm sure it's something you can get used to. And then the screens are on the top. I guess those are buttons. So the buttons on the bottom, that's probably part of this new step sequencer that they've implemented. So just just kind of sharing my thoughts as I go along, guys. Like I said, I love my X special edition that I've had, and this is the next evolution in that. And I don't know. I'm unsure. I'm not going to be getting this no matter what, but I definitely want to know what it's all about.
It's different from the other MPCs in that it's really not something that you're just going to pick up and go all the time. Like, this isn't going to fit in a backpack, clearly. You have to have a custom case if you want to like bring this to another studio. And with the way the inputs and outputs are, and also it's like, I think 15 pounds or something like that. Yeah, it's got a little bit of weight to it. Between the inputs and outputs and like the amount of space it takes up and like the weight and all that and the mobility of it, this particular MPC, and just like the X and the XSE as well, are designed to be like main spot installations. Like, you're going to do a lot of production on this box in one particular spot. You're not just going to like set it up every time you want to use it. Like, it's permanently set up in a spot and it lives there. I at least think that's how it's intended personally, because again, the weight, the real estate and all that stuff, it's intended to live somewhere. So again, with that said, it would have been nice to maybe have some ADAT in and out, like either 8 in, 8 out, or 16 in, 16 out via the optical expansion. That'd have been really nice for main studio installation type of stuff. Because if you could set up maybe 8 channels of ADAT input and output, then this box gets even closer to becoming like the main audio interface for a studio. But alas, it is just 8 out and 4 in, technically 6 in if you count the front ports as well. But you know, you have to swap back and forth between those. The overall layout has been substantially changed from the X as well. On the X, the Q links are right here. Now they've been horizontalized. It's not a word, obviously. They've been placed horizontally right here at your fingertips. And there's a whole section that's kind of adjusted and new right here. The way it flows hand-wise is pretty good, especially with like being able to grab the Q links up here and then adjust things off to the side. So again, I haven't used the X or the XSE, so I don't have any real world feedback on that experience. I do think having the buttons.
Okay, I do wish that he had experience with the X and XSE. He's used it like every other model, and I'd forgotten that he'd never had the X, because I think he would have a little bit of a different opinion, coming from the XSCs. I'd be more interested to know what he thought of the changes in the X to that, because for me, I see some things that I don't know, just the way I work with the pads, and then being able to turn the knobs with your left hand. I'm right-handed, and then work the knob, and then work the knob. Excuse me. To my British friends, they will love that when I said that. But yeah, I don't know. Going like, because you're using the pads, right? They're right in front of you, and having to reach up, because sometimes you're not just like finger drumming on the pad. Sometimes you can play them like to just hold down a sample, trigger a sample, or a synth sound. You can set up like each different chords and scales on those, and play like synths and stuff. Having to reach up above it, I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like the flow is to me would be. Maybe it's just because I'm so used to that setup, but yeah, I think it would have been nice if Tefty had a little experience with the X or the XSE before this review. But I think he's giving it to us straight. What do you guys think? Let's see, TCO, what up, man? How you doing? The Vapors, what's happening? Yeah, it's touchscreen. I can't tell if it's larger. It looks about the same, but when I saw a side by side with the XSE, this thing's way bigger. Definitely a big missed opportunity with not having the ADAT expansion. If you could add your interface and expand the I/O, the fact that they made it that like quite a bit bigger and didn't add any ins or outs is another missed opportunity. Yeah. So let's continue on here. We're not gonna probably watch the whole video, guys, but I'll start scanning through. I just wanted to hear his initial stuff.
Controls like this to be able to operate and adjust things feels really good. And this section adjusts like what channel or tracks that you're looking at. So for instance, I can jump back and forth with the tracks. I can also go to returns, outputs, submixes, and I can also load up the track effects for whatever channel I have loaded right there, which is actually pretty cool. So if I go back to the trap kit, I can hit track effects on the trap kit, see what's loaded right here, and then start manipulating it, which does kind of bring me to another annoyance slash grievance. There's so much that's laid out right here that you realize that there's certain things that are not intuitive. Like for instance, this track effects page, there's nothing in here that's going to allow you to suddenly start choosing these plugins or maybe deleting them or adjusting them or anything like that. Like there's all these Q links right here that nothing is being correlated to. Like at least the on off, like over here, it would make sense if these Q links turned those on and off. They don't. So at certain points in this system, with the way it's designed, you have to interface with the touchscreen, which fair enough, it's a large 10-inch touchscreen, so it's going to feel relatively good using it and interfacing with it, and also the angle that you can do. That's nice, obviously. But in terms of design and functionality to actually use the machine, there's a lot of instances where suddenly you have to exclusively use the touchscreen, and you feel like you lose the flyby buttons and controls experience that this big machine offers you. Because at a certain point, you can feel like, oh, I'm going through all the stuff, go to the grid edit, sample edit, go to the arrange page, matrix, all that stuff, track mutes to mute stuff, go back to the main menu, all that. You have 2 shift buttons to do stuff, adjust tracks like so I'm not like, tapping this and scrolling back and forth. There's a lot of things that make you go, oh, I think I can actually control this machine almost 100% from the buttons. And then you go to track effects, and you're like, how do I, oh yeah, I have to use a touchscreen. Again, not that that's a problem to use the touchscreen. I'm not saying that. I don't want you to walk away from this video being like, why are you complaining about the touchscreen, bro? I'm not. I'm just saying that the design and the footprint of the XL kind of makes you think you're getting into this workflow where you're not going to really touch the touchscreen anymore. It's just an actual screen as you're adjusting the dials and everything.
Yeah, that's when you feel like you're working in something DAWless or like on a machine, and then you're reminded that you're actually on like a big laptop. Yeah, I agree with him there. Like they should make it with that many freaking knobs. and buttons around it, there should be no reason almost ever, especially in something as common that you would be in as regular as the effects page, that you should not be able to use knobs to be able, especially to turn them on and off. They make you have to poke it, which, yeah, I mean, it seems like it's just, yeah, it's just kind of silly. But we got Banana Rider in the house. What up, dude? Let's see what people are saying here. Not willing to drop 3,100 with tax, but waiting to see if they drop a Force 2 next. That would be something I would be interested in seeing. The thing I wonder is they've, with the new 3.0 software, they have merged the Force so much now with the MPC that I'm wondering if they're just going to abandon the whole Force concept altogether. I don't know. I know with those new pads, you get, what is it? It's 4 times 16. So I forget how many exact pads the Force had, but you kind of, they give you, I think, almost as many pads. I would like to see a Force 2 because I would hope that would be like a real evolution away from these NPCs and on, the Force was its own cool thing. I always wanted to try a Force and play with one. I never had one. Let's see. My bad. I didn't. Oh, let's see. Oh shit, what up? Is that thing butt ugly? You know what? It's not. I don't think it looks as good as the XSE, which has more of the all layout. Looks more like one of the traditional old Akai units to me, like the MPC 60 or the 3000. Of course, has the touchscreen. Doesn't look quite the same as those, but this thing, yeah, it's got a lot of. That's why I don't like that strip of the knobs up top. It kind of breaks away from the flow of how the machine, and then they have the tops all black like that. It's almost like they took the XE bottom, redid some of it, and then just like slapped the whole top section as 2 different units. Yeah, it's not like a really good looking machine to me. It's not like jumping out at me as appealing. Saw Deluge in person today. That thing is cool. Deluge is dope. I got some buddies that have been rocking the Deluge for years and still swear by it. Deluge is tight. Yeah. I would love to. I'm not going to jump out and. The only thing is they did update the screens, right? The screen's better. My issue was always having to rely on the. You had to use the pads as a screen. Seemed like it for my workflow. Like, I don't know how that worked, but I always wanted. I think its capabilities, and especially since they made it all open source and stuff. Like I said, I have some friends that just make bangers and swear by the Deluge as the best thing since fucking sliced bread. So I don't think I'm gonna watch this whole thing. Let's see, got space capsule. I kind of feel like the rest of it's just we'll watch a few more minutes. I'll skip ahead a little bit and then we'll see if there's anything extra special they added to this from the Live 3. I kind of feel like there's not, but we'll see.
And then you hit a point where you're like, oh, I have to use the touchscreen for things. Now, when you do open up plugins, the Q links being spread out is really nice, obviously, and it tells you what they are going on. I like that. But with the clips, there's nothing with this that tells you what's happening with the clips. There's one of these things where you think you're just using the dials and all that, and you don't really need to touch the screen anymore for some additional features right here that could like add clips and all that. One instance that is probably going to be confusing for some people who are new to the MPC. If you look at the bottom right here, there's 2 arrange buttons. There's arrange edit and then arrange clip. Now, having worked with the machine, this makes sense for why they're there. But if you're just looking at this, you'd be like, arrange, what the hell? Because if you click on arrange, it doesn't appear to do anything aside from highlighting which is which. But if you click on arrange here, it brings up the actual arrangement. Essentially, if you double tap arrange on the left, then you get sequence editing options. And by the way, if you're wondering what this arrange does, this is to record to either the arrangement, like so, or record to the clip, like so. Akai, they want their hardware and their software to be bulletproof. But it's a complex machine, and you might be thinking, like, there must be hundreds of engineers working there, right? No, that's not the case. They actually do not have a big team working on all the software. So if you're thinking, like, why don't they have 200 people just suddenly fix it in a couple weeks or something? They have nowhere near that software engineering output to work on these.
All right. Yeah, I think I've seen enough. Not I had a feeling I wasn't going to be super excited on it. I did have the Live 3 temporarily. I got one and I held on to it for I think a couple weeks and I ended up sending it back. I just with my XSE, I don't really and don't get me wrong, those new pads are really cool. I do think it's dope, but I'm fine with my XSE. I don't see needing to upgrade. I don't use it my MPC as a workstation. I don't use it for tons of plugins and stuff. I use it as a sampler and a drum machine when needed. I do like the way it chops samples. I love the way you can do like lots of things on it. I usually will use it to chop and stuff on, then bounce it to something else. Like right now, the GR Mega mainly is, and the Tone Verk more lately, sampling into, but also I have other like vintage samplers like my ASRX and stuff, and other the Octatrack things like that I'll use to. So I don't usually. I don't use it like a workstation. You know what I mean? I sample into it, I sequence with it, I make drums with it, and that's what I think it's all about. And I'm not feeling this whole moving into laptop workstation realm that they've taken it. Nothing against them, and I think a lot of people are stoked on it. And that's cool. And if people are loving it and making that's awesome. For me, it's just I feel like a lot of us older heads. It's not like I feel left behind. But like all these things, like I never really cared about a Ranger View and all this stuff. Now disc streaming was dope that they added that, and there's things I do like, and there's things that I'm just like, I'm not gonna use that. It just feels bloated, if that makes sense, guys. It feels like it's just like they're just packing it with everything and the kitchen sink, and it's like forgetting that it's an MPC. You know what I mean? And like it's kind of just like not even an MPC anymore to me. You know what I mean? It's a laptop, it's a workstation, it's a DAW in a box, which is awesome if that's what people want. But I have a hard time like I'll see someone like make a beat on this thing and be like, oh, this is DAWless, and like making some DAWless jams, and it's like, are you really though? You know what I mean? Are you really making a DAWless jam when you have a 10-inch computer screen with tons of VSTs and yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I think it's dope. It's just not for me. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna love it, make bangers on it, and that's super cool. It's just they've left me behind from what I want out of my MPC. And luckily, I have my XSE. I have my one. If I was to ever get another MPC at this point, I would go backwards. I'd get like a 4000 or something like that. 3000 I'd rather have a 4000, I think. I don't know. Just that's my thoughts. So cool. Tefty Music Tech, if you're not subscribed, if you like his stuff, I really like Tefty Music Tech. He started out with a channel called Tefty and Memes, like him and his wife, and they would like make music, and he would he started out on this other channel this years ago, and I've just always really liked him. They make really good music. He's a super talented musician, and then later he started this channel and where he just reviews gear, because he used to, the old channel he would like mix it was a mix of reviewing gear and then like doing live jams with his wife, who's a really talented singer, and they do music together. I have respect. Whenever Tefty drops a video on a piece of gear, I usually will check his out over, say, a lot of the more mainstream guys. But I watched his video, so I want to shout out Tefty Music Tech. Go give him a follow, like the video. Let me give the video a like. Anyhow, I'm going to switch over here. All right, guys. And then I'll jump in the chat for a few minutes. Not going to be a super long one tonight. Let me bring the chat over here. Dun, 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 dun. Eternian, what up? Good to see you, man. See, XSE looks like the 3000 faux show. Shit's clean. Yes. Yeah, that's why I wanted it. It had that real older Akai vibe. Let's see. I missed anybody. Fisk, what's up? If Dots, hey, good to see you. Been checking out your jams for January, doing some awesome stuff. Thanks for jumping in. Let me see. Dang, I gotta go. All right, where are we? Ella Stewart, what's up? The SP202. Yeah, I love my SP202. Isn't mine? Mine's like right over here. I use the SP202 all the time as a processor. I was gonna make some videos on Studio Secret Weapons, because that is one that to me is definitely something you can get super cheap, that you would be blown away with some of the things you can do with it. Dang, guys, let me try and find where to start here. Okay. Try and get through some of these comments and say what's up to everyone. Isn't the mouse what everyone is crying for? Yeah, right. Banana Writer, it's like you add a mouse and there you are. I think that's what they do want that. I still don't get why you use this instead of a laptop. Exactly. It does look really neat though. I bet it's super powerful, especially since it's the price of a laptop too. Like, yeah, it's funny. It's like people like get it instead of a laptop because they can say, "Oh, I'm working in standalone. I don't have to be on the computer." And yeah, what kind of logic's that? I don't know. To me, it's just every MPC that comes out is more and more just a laptop, a computer. There's big laptop vibes. It seems like a dolless DAW. Yes, well said. Space Capsule. The spec upgrade is insanely worth it. Yeah, I wish they did the same RAM memory and just in the MPC 1 form. You know, I think that's probably next. Banana Rider, they've done the Live, they've done the X, and now, I mean, the next logical step is either going to be the Keys, probably the Keys 37 or the 1. I mean, I think the Live and the X were out before the original MPC 1. And then I think Live 2 might have dropped after MPC 1. But then right after that, they came out with MPC 1 Plus. That's another thing, is like just how often they're dropping them. And people want that. You know, that's the MPC like users are that. Oh, man. Like, I'm just, you know, I am one of them. So I'm not going to bag. But like that community is unlike anything else in the gear space. I mean, the drama queens and the bitching and the fighting and it's just unreal in those NPC groups. Like ridiculous. Let's see. XSC. Oh yeah, I got that. Eternian is in here. Too much too. I'll stick with my SP2. Oh yeah, I read that. Yeah, dude. L. Stewart, the SP202 is awesome. I've got the 404 MK2, and I'd probably use the 202 even more than that, to be honest. That's kind of something I always have when I talk about bouncing samples off of things, or using it to process. Like send a sample to the 202 and then back, because you can get some real nasty like sounds out of that thing. Let's see. Yep, everyone playing. No one layering down the real-ish. Straight up. When last Earth-shaking album was made since they made touchscreen? What last Earth-shaking album was made since they made touchscreen MPCs? I mean, people don't use real producers like making like big time albums. Most of them aren't using MPCs. Maybe a few of them, but like most of them are using DAWs. They're in the computer doing it, so they're using software. That's you know the majority of all hits or whatever being made nowadays. It's all on the computer. There's very few people. I've heard of a few people like have used some MPCs, but maybe they started it in the MPC and then it goes into the DAW, like most things. MPC fans are always so annoying. Yes, lots of them can be. Not all of them. There's a lot of cool people in that community, but there's definitely a large amount of they're way too defensive and precious about the MPC. Agreed. The new 3.7 firmware is improved even on Force. Oh yeah, did they update the Force too? That's cool. Good. I'm glad to hear that. See, I haven't heard a lot of enthusiasm for this. Yeah, I don't know. Electronic Composer, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like exactly like what you would expect. There's nothing super. I mean, more RAM, more gig, more, except not more where like I would want it, which would be an IO and certain things. It is what it is. I'm not gonna bag on it, but it's definitely not for me. It's way too big, dude. It's insanely big. When I saw a picture of it, was it Loop Pop or something? Had a picture on his thumbnail. I haven't watched that video yet, but I saw a picture with like next to the XSE earlier, like on my lunch. I didn't have my headphones. I was bummed at lunch today because I wanted to watch videos, and like I was in a break room with other people. I wasn't gonna like be blasting NPC videos, and yeah, I think I saw that, and it was like it's significantly larger than the X or XSE, like huge. Like it would take up a big giant portion of this desk, and the XSE is already really big. Let's see, field report from a Cincinnati, Ohio Guitar Center. They have no device to demo, and the staff didn't know or care. What's up, Rourke? That's funny, dude. Haven't seen Nick Trakakis lately, but he was on a whiz on Force 2. Yeah? No, I know who you're talking about. I have there was another dude who was like super sick on the Force. The Force just never seemed to have got the shine that Akai like kept it as like the little like the redheaded stepchild or something. They never gave it the same love and marketing and all that as the MPC. At least it seemed like it to me from the company. But sorry, Ableton Push will always beat your MPC. Hey, I don't doubt it. I've never used a Push, but they seem super dope. Super cool. Fisk, we're all annoying. Yeah. Way too many talking points. Yeah. Live 3 was on display though. Yeah. I don't see much, other than the Q links and the size. It's basically just like the other models of the older ones, that they're all the same other than the amount of the size of the pads, we don't have a new one yet, but it has the smaller pads or a Keys 37 or whatever. But yeah, they're all the same. You just get more Q links and stuff. But the fact that it's almost exactly like the XSE, it just has more gig. It's got those new pads. The Q links are in a different place. It's got those. The one thing that I would be sick is to have those touch strips. Those would come in handy. That's one thing that I really think. Let's see. At the end of the day, it's a computer. Yep, exactly. Any synth gear that lets you sequence is a computer. Well, technically, yeah. What about there's analog sequencers, though. I don't know. Is that technically, maybe it's technically an analog computer, I guess. But yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Did Tefty memes get divorced? Never see mutual contact from them. I don't think so, TCO. But I don't know. I don't know much about it. But you're right. I haven't seen anything for a while. I haven't checked that channel for a minute, but I haven't seen anything. I mean, she was putting out for a while some videos just herself of music on that channel, but it's been a long time. That'd be a bummer. Hopefully he's all good in their world. For me, it's just a waste of money. Yeah, I have no desire. I'm not dropping $3,000 on the new MPC. Just not gonna happen. Especially after I used the Live 3 and realized that I was totally like fine with my XSE. It's all about what inspires you. Even with all these insane specs, will an album be made that changes the game more than what we've made on the MPC 60? Good question. Yeah, I can't say for sure. That's a good comment there, Banana Rider. NPC community is almost as cringe as the Fruity Loops community. Fisk. Kilovic, what up? They need to work on the converters and Sonics. Yeah. If there's no upgrade in that department on this, and it's just like, I don't think they give a shit, apparently. Everybody thought they were going to release this new flagship that was going to, have way better converters and sound. But I don't think that's the case. I haven't heard anything about it having better sonics or sound. Like nothing like the TR-1000 or anything, or like some of the other stuff that's out. When was the MPC One Live originally released? The Live 1 came out a long time ago. Was it like 2015, 16 maybe? And the Live was before the X, right? I'm pretty sure. And then the one came out in like 2019 or 2020, because I've had mine for, like 5-6 years. And then a few years after that, they released the One Plus, and then upgraded. The Live 2 came out, I think, before the One Plus, and they've like, it seems like they release one every year. They had the MPC Key, what was it, 61, whatever, and then the 37. And then, but yeah, I want to say around like maybe 2015 is when the first of these new generations. Because before that, there was the Renaissance, the one that was just like a controller. There was one that was just like, I don't know. It's been a while. It's been probably like 14, 15 years, I want to say, since these. Someone will correct me in the chat that probably knows better. MPC 1 and Live 2 were June 2020. Yeah, okay. So it's been just probably 5-6 years since I got my MPC 1 like pretty quick after it dropped. But the Live 1 and the original X had already been out for a while. I want to say like at least 4 to 5 years for the Live 1, something like that. I might be wrong. Somebody will know. See, Roland is king. Yeah, Roland's got some good stuff. I'll say this about Roland. Almost every product they have just sounds great, and they have fantastic effects. But anything that comes out of a Roland device, it just sounds so good. Say what you want about them not, now they've released TR-1000, but not releasing anything of their heritage, doing digital releases, whatever. But their sound and their effects are, the top of the line. Live was 2017. Okay, I thought it was a little earlier than that. Then was the X 2018? Maybe for some reason I was thinking it was like 2016. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I know it's been a long time. If you're hard up for one, wait till Black Friday. If they sell crappie, you might be able to grab one. Yeah, I'm sure though. But there's enough people freaking out in the MPC community, electronic composer. That's a big community. I'm sure they'll grab one. Freebie, what up, dude? How's it going, man? Just saw the price of this thing. Wow, laugh out loud. Freebeat was the man who inspired me to grab the MPC One. I saw his jams on it, and was like, "Damn, this thing looks perfect." And yeah, I know, dude. Almost $3,000. Like, no. Yeah, good to see you, Freebeat. If you guys don't know Freebeat, Does that dude streamed every day for I don't know how many years. It was a long time. Did a video every single day of a jam. Like talk about dedication. Really great music. Badass drummer. And go subscribe. Check out Free Beat. Awesome dude. Good to see you, man. Thanks for jumping in. Nothing new if it's made after 1996. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, let's see. Damn, Kai. Whoops. Chat jumped on me. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I'm way behind. My apologies. I'll try and get to everything. I can't be on for a whole lot longer, guys. I'm gonna just maybe another 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna have to get out of here. Got the hella early alarm clock for work. So let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anybody here. Probes, what up? Good to see you. We got Rourke in here. Solgero, does your laptop have a program edit button or Q links? No, I feel you there, and that is one thing that the Q links and the interface and the I/O and how you can use it. There are benefits. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying it is a laptop, but it's kind of like a hybrid of a laptop with a built-in controller interface. Now, can you get controllers that you can MIDI map for like Q links or whatnot and edit buttons? I mean, I see the arguments both ways. I love my XSE. I love the layout of it. I'm not gonna knock anybody who gets this or just be like it's dumb or anything, because a lot of people will love it, but I don't know. For me, it's just how much they've added to it over these last few years with all the software, and it's just gotten away from what I wanted to use my MPC for. It's more of a workstation in my eyes now. More than even a laptop, I see it as like a traditional like workstation, where it's like like a DAW in a box with the controller on it. So let's see. Okay, I'm missing a lot of stuff. Mecho Destructo, what up? See, I for one hope they make a controller for the Computer 3 software instead. Not sold on the XL. Yeah, I coming from you, Destructo, that means a lot, because I know you're another XSE owner, and you and I have been waiting patiently for this new XL to see what it's all about. I'm not sold on it either, dude. It's not I'm just not seeing a reason to upgrade from the XSE. It's just not enough. Those pads are cool. I really like the touch strip. There's things I like about it, but just dropping $3,000 on it is just like I can't justify it. You know what I mean? Like, not when what I'm getting. There's nothing that my XSE can't do right now that I want to do for what I use it for. I understand a lot of people want more RAM. They're maxing their MPC out. They need all these upgrades, but for me, I don't have that problem for what I use it for. So, but yeah, interesting to hear that from you, dude, because I know you know what the hell you're talking about, and you use it. I still use 5000. I was actually waiting for a new X. This look is really disappointing. Domestic, yeah. I mean, it seems like a lot of people are kind of disappointed, but some people are stoked. Everybody who wanted the more RAM and the more everything, the thing is huge. I'm not sure. I've only watched the one video of it. I haven't made up my mind completely. These are just my initial impressions tonight. My first thoughts. This is something I've been waiting to see patiently. A lot of us have, to see what it was going to be all about. I may watch some other videos, change my mind. I'm like 99.9% sure I'm not going to grab one, at least anytime soon. But I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. So let's see. Just saw the price of this thing. If you need a bigger desk for this than a laptop, yeah, you need a huge ass desk for this if you're gonna fit anything else on it with it. Especially if you have other synths and gear and stuff. The thing is giant. Let's get the comment. You need a bigger desk. Oh, whoops, sorry. Hear you on the bloating of the software. It compounds as they keep developing around more RAM and computer power. I think the Live 2 One Plus is still a sweet spot for used buyers. And that's a beautiful thing for some people, because now with this coming out, you can get an XSE for probably $1,000 or less. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the X, yeah, it's if you're for used MPC, getting the last gen, for a lot of people that have been wanting one or wanting to upgrade, say from their one to an X or something, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. More memory for the 8-bar loops. You goddamn pissed. This is what you doing or doing in Ohio? Is that what you're doing in Ohio? Lots of cicada trap hat samples and 808s. That's what he's doing in Ohio. You guys fucking cicada hit 5. Synth Mafia called me up. Can't say nothing anymore. 3.7 update is good with the Live 3 so far. What up, Hero? Good to see you, man. Yeah, no, I think it's dope what they're doing with it. Seeing someone like you really utilize that Live 3, and love it. I think it's awesome. I'm not trying to like put anything down. Just this is my thoughts on this X. These new, I don't know. Ever since 3.0 came out, I just haven't been as hyped, and it's probably because I'm an old head, and us old guys, it's harder for us to learn new stuff, new tricks. Anyone here gonna buy the Leviathan? That's another one I'm unsure on yet. I'm not going to buy it anytime soon. TCO, you thinking about it? I wouldn't mind playing with that desktop, but I don't know. I need to see more on it. I need to watch more, hear more sounds. It looks cool, but I don't know. I wasn't as impressed with that either as I thought I would be. But again, it might just be like, sometimes I see something and I'm not interested in it, and then later down the road I'm like, really interested in it. Not buying anything. Good, probes, good. Me either. 16 gigabyte RAM, looks like they might add certain third-party VSTs. I could see that, maybe more collaboration with Native Instruments too and stuff like that. See, and that's why I'm not as interested, because I'm not looking for my MPC to be like running a bunch of VSTs and standalone and stuff. Did they release the new actual 3.0 software now finally? Because I've been waiting for that, because I used to love using it in controller mode, my XSE, because then I can use my whole Arturia V collection and all that with it, pigments and stuff like that. That is kind of what I've been waiting for, and that's kind of like why I haven't used 3.0 as much as I would, because I really enjoy using controller mode sometimes. Not all the time, but I loved being able to use my own VSTs in there. Let's see, sell Saturday. Canada Rider, you're going to be rave. Oh, you're talking to the banana. Let's see. John Makes Beats, dude. Honored to have you here. What's up, man? Huge fan of you. Your channel. Let's see. Got to keep in mind they're setting up for the next however many years of development. Who knows what they'll be doing with it development wise in 5 years. True. They've made it. I'm sure the processor and all the information, all the beefy specs, they could turn it into all kinds of things, huh? It could develop into something that I'm not seeing. Man, good to see you here, John. Let's see. Let's get one. Let's see. Intense Danish EDM, Incoming Brothers. George G's in the house. Good to see you, George. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. You had the Renaissance. Wow, MPC lovers are getting hit hard tonight. Doesn't fare well for the reputation. Yeah, I don't know. It's always like that with the MPC crowd. They're always, that's what I said. They're like one of the funniest groups of music gear people, because like there's always so much drama when a new one comes out, and there's love, there's hate, there's people crying, there's people jumping up and down happy, so yeah, you just got to take it. Things will settle down, and then people will kind of figure it out. But yeah, I just want to jump in, and I was at work and didn't get a chance to like check out much on it, so I watched that video. I'm gonna go watch. I'm sure John probably has a video on it. I should check that one out. John Makes Beats is awesome. Makes amazing beat videos, and just a rad dude. And he's a dope rapper. If you don't know John Wayne, let's see, Hans Volt, what's up, dude? Good to see you. DL1, what's happening? Thank you for joining in. Let's see, grilling some chicken. Nice. We mostly ready. Did my track. Slow BPM. Oh, you guys are, man, yeah, you guys are doing it. Is that for the Kumite? Is that what you guys are talking about? I wanted to get in on that. I just was worried I couldn't have the time to put out that much music with work and life right now. Track a week like that. And I'm trying to get this album done. So like the tracks that I am finishing, I'm trying to hold for that. So trying to go on top of that and make like a banger that could like compete with like against you guys in the Kumite as like in a competition like that. The next one I'm going to try and join in for sure. Let's see, who was that? Missed someone else there. Chat's jumping all around. Let's see, converters, everything. Too bad about sounding like cardboard. Oh damn. Here we go with the sound arguments. I haven't really heard it, so I can't say if there's been any improvement. Yeah, Destructo knows. He has every single MPC from the 60 up to these newer ones. Won't make a difference for him. Wish we could upgrade the specs on the older ones, of course, but that's about it. Yeah, if anybody knows, it's Destructo. He literally has every single MPC that's ever been released. So I trust your opinion. Destructo, we might see a reason for like what John was saying, what they do with this and the capabilities, what they turn it into. It could be something that becomes more appealing. I don't know. This initial first day, I'm not just blown away. And I'm not dropping $3,000 on anything right now, especially after all the gear I've gotten in the last like couple years. See, I might grab a MPC X for cheap. That's what's up. I see them for as low as $750. SE is $1,500 thus far, George. Yeah, I would think after today, seeing SEs for a little cheaper. I'm going to hold on to my SE and just stick with that. I'm happy with it. It does what I need for now. Converters sound great. Are you talking about in the new one or just in general on the MPCs? Why they haven't released the MPC 60 with more memories beyond you? Same sound, just more memory. I don't know. I don't know if they have the same stuff to make that. Sometimes some of the old components in those old stuff is hard to like come across nowadays. From what I understand, I don't know too much, but I've heard that said by people who know a lot more. John has a badass video, crazy ass beats as usual. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna go after this when I get off and watch John's video. Usually, when I turn on YouTube when I lay in bed, like I'm sure that one will be one of the first to pop up. Oh hell yeah, John, you already know, dude. Like you're like the people's champ when it comes to making beat videos for sure. Nah, track my cover or cut this weekend. I'm still looking for someone to cover Real American. Oh yeah, for the Hulk Hogan song. Cover or cut. That's right. Your other thing you're doing. That's right. I thought Samurai was gonna do Real American, the Hulk Hogan song for you. That'd be sick. Limited is for fun, at least for me. Ridiculous track. Specs don't matter. It's what you can do with it that counts. Yeah, that's true. But specs, for some people, specs matter. If you're using a bunch of VSTs and stuff, probes, and you're maxing out your memory on a machine, for some people the specs are a big deal. Chip game is gate kept. A lot of tech now is super cheap chips. Yeah. Well, you guys, I appreciate everyone for hanging out, jumping in. Had some great cameos from some people I haven't seen on here for a long time, or some new folks. I appreciate y'all. This was just my initial thoughts on it. I'm going to watch a few more videos, John's to start, and then maybe one or two more, and then kind of form my opinion a little more on it. Right now, I wasn't thinking I was going to just jump out and get it right away either anyway. Just like I'm not going to go run out and get the Leviathan, like I looked around my studio last night when I saw that, and I was like, with my Hydrosynth and my Quantum and my third wave, I think I'm good. Like, I don't have to jump out. I got the GR Mega in front of me with the Toneverk and the Octatrack and the MPC XSE. I don't need to be just like getting all gassed up about this stuff, and I want to see what happens at Super Booth with some other things. I heard Groove Synthesis might have something coming out, but yeah, I think it's dope. I do want to see some more stuff on it and form my full opinion. Just first thoughts, the one thing that blew me away is that they made the main encoder still not a button. That was my big gripe with the XSE, because on the MPC one and the other ones, you could turn it and then select it. You still have to fucking select and then hit enter underneath. I was like, that'd be like the one thing I would have improved on the X, was that one thing, and they didn't do that. So I don't know. Not a big deal or deal breaker. I just thought it was funny. And I would have liked to seen maybe a little more, some more inputs would have been cool. But it looks super dope. Like I said, I may change my tune once I watch some other videos, get a little more knowledge and information on the thing. I'm sure some people are going to make it absolute bangers and badass shit with it. So, let's see. Kumite is not limited. Things I don't know why people want anymore, but transparent converters. I've owned original MPCs, ASR10, SP1200. A 1200 especially sounds like shit if you don't run it through a board. Yeah, you know what? I think for me, the converters thing has never been an issue, because I don't want my shit to sound like an old MPC or an SP1200. There's ways to outboard process to make it get those kind of sounds, because I don't always want to make the same type of sound in music. You know what I mean? Sometimes I want it to be as clean as possible, and then I can use my outboard preamps and effects and saturators and run it through mixers and all kinds of things. There's all kinds of ways to get that kind of sound without being stuck in that kind of sound. Having that kind of like an SP1200 or an old MPC, ASR10, whatever. I have an ASRX Pro sitting here, which I'm pretty sure sounds quite a bit different from the 10. I've never had the 10, but it has a sound. Trying to get a clean sound out of those is much more difficult than trying to get a more saturated, like heavy, if people want boom bap drums or whatever. So I hear you. I hear you. See, if you want that sound, you can get around running. Exactly. Invest in external gear. It doesn't even have to be like really expensive external gear. You can just use like a good analog mixer with a good EQ. Something like the Electron Analog Heat will give you a lot. Bounce it into other, you can bounce it into other cheaper samplers and stuff. I use the SP202 sometimes, I was talking about earlier, or the ASRX, or like the, what is it? The turbo, the Emu samplers. There's ways you can bounce it and then get it back into your thing. So 100%, John knows what's up. It's all about it. I don't understand this obsession with wanting your sampler to have only this one kind of sound. I mean, if you need that bad, then just go invest in a vintage sampler. That's my feeling on it, because I don't always want to make something that sounds like boom bop or like old 90s or whatever style drums and stuff. For me, like I like to be able to have variety in my choices and then make it from there, and using external gear. Exactly. Outboard gear. Yep. That's what gives you that sound. Exactly. I don't want to wait Super Booth, but I think early spring. Facts. Hell yeah. What up, Cressy? I'm just heading out. All right. Yeah, you guys, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And remember, PMA all day, every day. It's going to be a cool week. We'll see if anything else pops up out of NAM. NAM. We'll see. Hopefully we get something else just besides this Leviathan and this MPC, because we knew those were both coming. I want to be surprised by something. But I appreciate y'all for hanging out, and hope y'all have a good one. Take it easy.